Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are just going to have a little brief chat about your plans for 2021, no matter how absolutely mental this year has already turned out to be. We want to talk about positive things, about fun things, about hobby stuff that we are planning for this year. So, I come to you with a question. As I say, this is going to be quite a short video, mostly because I'm absolutely exhausted. As you might be able to tell, I've just realised I look terrible. More terrible than usual, which is saying something. Turns out teaching a 5-year-old writing, spelling, maths, whilst also looking after a near 3-year-old is not easy, it turns out. I already respected teachers, now I'm just pretty sure that they should be given some sort of immortality, or perhaps £1 million each, something of that nature. What do you have planned for this year? Now, the normal thing is new year, new army. I've seen that a lot, people saying, well, in 2021, I'm going to be tackling a brand new project. But for a lot of us, I think it's fair to say that new projects aren't necessarily a priority, or perhaps in some cases, mine especially, they shouldn't be a priority as such. I still have things from last year, the year before even, that I need to sort out. I still have my Emperor's Children that I need to fully build out. I've painted a lot of it, but to be honest, I got very sidetracked. My Emperor's Children is mostly knights now, which it was never intended to be. It was supposed to be just an infantry force with a few fun tanks, including the Typhon Heavy Siege tank because it's an absolute monster. But somehow that project took a massive swerve. It took it just like went straight off the rails into building 3 Chaos Knights and a Lord of Skulls, because I really enjoyed painting those models. And the conversion stuff that you can do with knights is a lot of fun. It's really interesting to mess with them, and you can get so many different parts and so many different pieces and create something monstrous or like weird or outlandish. Like, I mean, giving things like a Chaos Knight 3 arms, so you've got 2 on one side and a chainsword on the other. Using the Defiler clause for that is one of the things I did with mine, and that was so fun that I wanted to do something similar again. I'm holding off, but it is an option. For me, I think it's not going to be so much a case of like a massive project for 2021, more multiple smaller ones. So you've probably seen, if you follow me on Twitter, that I've been working on some, like, well, they're not Gargants, they're like Gargant proxies, stand-ins. They're the Ambots. It's the Ambot kit using both sets of legs stacked on top of each other with a bunch of stuff stacked on top to make them look like they're from the realm of metal, which I'm really enjoying making them. I made them without knowing what they really were, and then everyone said, Gargants, realm of metal, Gargants, that's what you should do, Age of Sigmar. So that's what I'm doing. But that project is nearly done. I've got 6 of those things now, and aside from maybe a Mega Gargant in the form of some sort of converted knight, I don't know how much else I want to do with that project. I think, for me personally, sticking with smaller projects is probably the way to go. Speaking of which, I did pick this up over Christmas. There's I think there's quite a few of these still available on Element, actually, if you were thinking about this. I think when I looked last, there was like 10 plus available, so might be worth having a look if you were considering it. I don't know how much more than this box I will end up with when it comes to Caradron Overlords. It might just be these. I'm tempted by the Ironclad. We'll see how it goes, but even this is going to be pretty heavily converted and messed with. I've got a few ideas for using different bits of AdMech stuff to make them a bit more, I don't know, just a bit different, because I can't help myself. That's 2 small projects, one of which is almost done already. In terms of 40k, as I say, I've got my Emperor's Children to deal with. I still have the Obliterators to paint. I still need to get my Chosen finished off. And after that, really that force is almost done. It just needs some troop stuff. And even then, I'm not planning on really heavily converting that stuff. It's just going to be Chaos Space Marines with a few extra bits here and there, perhaps with a few third-party bits to make some nice Noise Marines, because let's face it, it can't be an Emperor's Children army without some Noise Marine action. Overall, my plans for this year, hobby-wise, are pretty unformed. There's only a couple of things that I've really got firmly in my head to do. Everything else is catching up on models that, you know, I've let languish. things like the Titanica stuff I've got, actually doing something with my Aeronautica Imperialis stuff, which I've got the Tau side of the, whichever expansion it was that came out for that last, I've got the Tau side of that, which I still need to do something with. But it's all small stuff. I think my approach to doing this kind of thing has changed slightly since I've come to the realization that no matter how driven or like enthusiastic I am about doing like a big army, the fact is I get partway through and then I just lose the focus. I lose that drive, and I want to move on to something else and try something different. I mean, the same can be said even for the stupid Dreadnought army. The paint jobs on those, let's face it, aren't great, but they got significantly worse as I went on, because the kit bashing part, great. The putting all of it together and creating ridiculous stupid Dreadnoughts, all on board for that, but even with as simple a paint scheme as I gave them, towards the tail end of doing those Dreadnoughts, a little part of me just didn't find it that fun anymore. I think that is the biggest lesson for me over the last couple of years. Regardless of how much I enjoy painting now, I need to be realistic about how much stuff I want to paint for one particular thing. When it comes to things like a fully functioning, like, massive number of points army, Chaos is probably the way to go for me personally, because you can mix and match all sorts of things. You can get all kinds of different war bands, and you can mesh them together if you want to. You can bring them all under one banner or a couple of different banners if you want. I think that is probably going to be the thing that I fall back on the most, doing more Chaos stuff, but that will be like the ongoing, oh, I fancy a squad in this colour, oh, I fancy a tank in that colour. Everything else, I think, is going to be pretty short scale. But the question is, what are you going to do? What is your plan? Are you planning a full company of Space Marines? That'd be mental. Let me know if you're doing that. That'd be class. Is there something in Age of Sigmar that grabbed your fancy over the last year? Have you decided to just go all in on like a bunch of Warcry warbands or something? What is your main goal? What are you aiming for over this year, hobby-wise? Be really interested to hear what your approach is going to be. And I guess for the sake of all of us, I hope that things do calm down and settle down and become a bit less chaotic. It's starting to feel somewhat old at this point. I think we can all agree. But hopefully having something like a, whether it be small or large project, something to escape into in the form of hobby will hopefully see us through to some extent or another. So yeah, let me know what your plans are in the comments down below. Oh, it's been a while since I've done the pointing thing. Oh my god, I look so tired. I'm going to go to sleep. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. As always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. It is entirely up to you. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.